So I want to share something very cool that's going to happen this Wednesday. There's going to be a total solar eclipse, and that's when the moon completely blocks out the sun just for a minute as it passes by. And then on the very same day, the peak of the Perseid meteor shower happens. And that means we're going to have a sky full of what looks like shooting stars. So unfortunately, not everyone's going to be able to see the eclipse. It's only going to be visible across Greenland, Iceland, and parts of northern Spain, interestingly enough. So even though most of us won't be able to see it, still millions are going to be talking about it and planning around it and sharing photos of it. We're all going to be looking up, right? At least to see the meteor showers if we can. And this is something as humans, like we've done that for millennia, right? We used to navigate by the stars. And I find that interesting. Why do moments like this matter so much to us as humans? And so today what I would talk about is not about astronomy. I mean, the eclipse is very cool, I admit. But what interests me even more is what happens to us when something like this goes on. Because I think these moments really remind us of something we've simply forgotten, something that's actually available to us all the time. And we don't have to wait for an eclipse to experience it. And that something is what we're going to talk about today. Okay? Hi, I'm Leeza Steindorf, and for more than 30 years, I've worked with Fortune 500 companies and government organizations and individuals, helping people navigate communication and conflict and change. And one of the things that fascinates me, I'm going to say, about human beings is how much of our experience is shaped by what we're paying attention to. Because we can be surrounded by something every single day and simply stop seeing it. And then something unusual happens, like an eclipse or a meteor shower, and suddenly millions of us stop what we're doing and we look up. So what's with that, right? Why do we stop? If you think about it, for one day, people in different countries, different beliefs, political views, all the things that seem to separate us, right? We all just take a minute and we look in the exact same direction. I love that. That is so cool, right? So for those few minutes, nobody cares who's right. Nobody's trying to get anything done or fix anything. We're just standing there looking at the sky together. I think there's something really wonderful about that. And I also think it's interesting because most of us spend, I'm going to say, an enormous amount of time of our lives looking at what's directly in front of us, like our phones, our computers, our problems, our to-do list, like the next thing that needs to get done. And we get so busy like looking down at our feet and where we're going that we don't feel the ground beneath us. Like we become immune really to what's around us, right? We don't spend time looking at our environment and we hardly look at the sky above us. But here's what I love. Just because we've stopped looking, none of that went anywhere. Like the sky's still there. The trees are still there. The birds are still doing what birds do, right? This astonishing world is going on around us all the time. But we've just stopped noticing it. Or for the most part, right? So if something simply changing what we're paying attention to can affect us this much, why does it change the way we feel? Let's talk about that. Because, well, first let me say this. If conversations like this help you see familiar things a little differently, I'd love for you to subscribe. So every week we take something that's happening in our world and get curious about it, what it might show us about the way we think as humans, the way we communicate, and the way we live. I'd love to have you join us for these conversations. So here's what I find fascinating. The eclipse doesn't solve a problem. It doesn't change your relationships. It doesn't grow your bank account. It doesn't answer the email that's sitting on your inbox. Like nothing in your life really changes in a practical way, right? But something happens to us. Why? Why does awe change us, right? I wonder if it's simply because for a few moments, whatever we've been worrying about, whatever's been pressing upon us, it's not the only thing that we're focusing on anymore. It's like for that period of time, it's just gone. It might still exist. Like your problems don't disappear and you still have to have that conversation or you still have to work to do, But now you're standing under this enormous sky, watching the moon move across the sun. And in that moment, your problem isn't the entire world anymore. It just becomes a small part of the world. And that, for me, that changes things, right? Like I've seen this happen so often again and again in my work with people. When we're caught in a conflict, whatever is happening, it can feel enormous. We become consumed by it. Like all we can see is what someone said and what they did and what we think it means. And we get all wrapped up in it and we're afraid what's going to happen next. It just becomes our world, right? And sometimes we become so focused on that one piece that we literally can't see anything else. It occupies our entire landscape. And then one thing shifts, something small, like looking up at the sky. Maybe we get some information that we hadn't heard before, or maybe we come to understand something differently, or maybe we just get curious. And then suddenly we see differently. We can see more. And the enormity of that situation kind of shrinks back to kind of a manageable size. So the circumstances may not have changed at all, but we're simply not seeing only one part of it that obscures our vision. So I'm wondering, thinking about that, do we need like an eclipse type of an event for us to be able to shrink those problems down to the normal size, or to be able to see new possibilities? What if wonder is available to us every day and we just don't see it, or we have forgotten about it? Look at little kids. They're amazed at everything. They walk around in wonder because everything's new for them, right? So I don't think that wonder belongs to eclipses or to meteor showers or to little kids, or not just these rare, astonishing events. Not at all. Like if you think about music, right? Everybody's got their platform that they listen to their music on. Have you heard of a piece of music that literally changes how you feel in a matter of seconds? Whatever it is that you feel calmer or more inspired or excited, right? We went to a concert recently. It was called In a Landscape. This man plays the grand piano in nature. And he gives you the opportunity to go and lay underneath the piano while he's playing. And so I went up there and laid under there with my daughter. He was playing a Chopin piece. Oh my God. And I could feel the music, not only hear the music. So these experiences, okay, that was kind of unusual, but our daily experiences like walking through the woods, or holding a newborn baby, or standing at the ocean, or watching someone that you love do something totally ordinary and then feeling that love that you have for them, or listening to a bird song. I mean, just take that. Really listen to birds sometimes. Like they're out there doing this every single morning. Most of us are in here getting breakfast or our coffee or answering emails, right? But that's what I find so fascinating. None of these things are rare. We're living right in the middle of them. Like the birds sing every morning. Every day there are trees growing and people are creating music and art, and people are helping each other, even if the media doesn't show it to us. That is what's going on. The ocean has its tides, the earth is turning, the sun comes up every single morning, and the stars come out at night. And somehow we've, unfortunately, in our busy, colonized industrial worlds, have come to make all of that ordinary when it's actually really awe-inspiring. Isn't that interesting? So maybe wonder isn't something that we have to go and look for. Maybe it's what happens when we notice where we already are. Like maybe we can see it in everyday things, the extraordinary. Maybe we can choose wonder. And when we do, it's not like our worries disappear, right? Life doesn't suddenly become perfect. But then the worries, they don't become everything anymore. It doesn't feel as heavy because there's a balance. There's something that lifts and lightens us. So something that kept coming to me when I was thinking about talking about this, about the eclipse and how we're moved by these natural wonders, is so the eclipse isn't changing the sky, right? The earth, the sun and the moon, like they're just doing what they do. It's changing the observer. And I started thinking, no, wait, is that right? Because I don't think that actually the observer is changing either. We're simply paying attention. We're looking up. We're noticing something. And for those few minutes, we're not thinking about where we need to go next or what we need to accomplish or about our work or what's not working in our lives, right? And what we need to fix. We're just here on the planet under this enormous sky, and we're simply being, finally. We're just being. And in the middle of something that has been happening for billions of years, and we get to be here for it, like we get to be the audience for it. This world is amazing. And maybe we've just gotten so busy living the routine of our lives that we have forgotten sometimes to actually experience these wonders. Because we haven't lost our sense of wonder. Maybe we just forgot to look up. Maybe we've just forgotten to notice, and that's all we need to experience that again. So I want to leave you with one question. When was the last time something filled you with genuine awe? And it doesn't have to be something enormous. Maybe it was a place that you visited again, or the first time, or a person, or a piece of music or art, or for me, a tree. I love trees, right? Something maybe your child said, or something you saw. Just one of those completely ordinary moments when you suddenly stopped and thought, wow, look at this. So if you would, please, I'd love to hear what yours is. Put it in the comments, because I think reminding each other of those moments actually helps us to notice them more, right? If other people are doing it too, it's like, oh yeah, oh, I can see that. Oh wow, look at that, okay? And if you'd like more conversations like this, where we're taking what's happening around us and get curious about it together and what it might help us see, I'd love to have you subscribe to the channel and join us in these conversations every week. All right? Appreciate you being here. Thanks for listening, and until next time, be well.